Today on What Happened to Us, we tackle the topic of hanging labias,
What?
meat curtains.
Ew. We ain't having that topic.
Okay. I don't like the lighting at all. Let me turn the house lights back on real quick.
All right.
And in the meantime, you can entertain
Oh,
our
great.
listeners.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That didn't go so well. Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies.
Well, if that doesn't put a different light on the subject.
I think you like hearing yourself.
Why else would you podcast?
I don't know.
Because I got so much to say. I'm so smart and I want everyone to know it.
Okay.
Why else would you do it?
No, I don't like to hear my voice.
Because you know that there are some people out there who are not enlightened. Not their own fault. Maybe they just don't have time or whatever. They're too busy, getting their Starbucks in the morning and trying to make it to the office, by 7:30 to get there early so that they can put their lunch in the coldest spot in the damn break room refrigerator, and then take a dump in the company bathroom and stink up their bathroom
And get paid for it.
and not have to use their toilet paper. No, they're not getting paid for it because they're there early. They're at 7:30.
Oh, they're not doing it on company time.
Well, maybe, and plus you're there early. You walk out of the bathroom, you're back to your desk. Your boss walks by and is like, Solomon, like your enthusiasm there. Okay, for some reason the guy of the boss is a New Yorker. Good, I like it. What you're doing there. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I like the brown nosing bit you're doing. Keep up the good work there, fuckface.
Dang.
Keep up the good work. Hey, this guy is a good shit.
He took a good shit.
No, he is a good shit. I worked with that guy. I want to say his name was Joe. I can't remember his name for the life of me. It's sad because I really liked the guy. At FIT, when I was a painter at FIT,
Yes.
there's a guy there. He's a bald guy. He's probably 10 years older than me. You can tell he was from like Brooklyn or something back in the day, And we'd meet up, whatever, we'd be working on the same project at FIT, or we'd happen to be in the same spot for lunch and just be bullshitting, water cooler talk, and he'd be like, "Oh, yeah, Jimmy, he's a good shit." Like, that's a good thing, I guess, to be a good shit. And after I got let go because I was white, it's true.
I know.
It's true. It's true. He had actually called me and hired me to do a couple jobs with him, painting garage floors and that kind of stuff. He'd take on. He quit too. He got fired or quit something, and he had called me up wanting me to work with him. He knew I was a good painter and whatnot. So and we'd be talking. He's like, "Yeah, well, Tom's a good shit, but you know about Tom? He's a little brown nose. He's got kids. He's got kids going to college. He's got 2 daughters going there to college. And when you work there, you go to college for free. So Tom's not really Uncle, because I was calling him Uncle Tom. So he threw me under the bus for some shit I never even seen.
Dang.
Yeah. So, but he was the number 2 in charge, underneath Stan, the man from Candyland.
Yes.
The black guy, the black boss. And he threw me under the bus for something I never even knew existed.
Do you believe in that term, thrown
What?
under the bus? Do you go with that? Like if
He
at my
blamed me
job-
for some shit that I didn't fucking do.
No, I mean Hell. What I'm saying is if you don't do your job at work,
Get some water.
I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm actually going to tell you, I'm going to go say something to your management, because if you're not doing the job, you're not needed. So Am I throwing you under the bus?
Well, I mean, what do you mean if you're not doing the job, you're not needed?
Like, say you're
if
not
you're having a
doing
bad
your
day
job.
and you're just like, yeah, fuck that shit. I don't feel like doing it.
No. I mean, if you're just like lazy, you just don't do anything.
You just never do it. You're
Just
like, I
never
know
do
I'm
it.
supposed to. I know it's in my job description. I've been told that that's one of the particular duties that I'm supposed to partake.
Correct.
You know, breaking my boxes down and taking them out to the cardboard bin out back. That's one of my jobs. But you know what? Fuck that cardboard. Let a tornado come. It'll blow away. I don't care. Is that what kind of the
laziness.
things you're talking about?
So it affects the whole team. It affects the whole team. So if nobody wants to do anything because they don't want to throw them under the bus, I don't know. I'm probably a little bit more mature than that. I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I'm getting rid of you. If you call it throwing under your bus, you probably don't want to work around me.
Now, there's no I in team. There's no I in team, but there is an ME.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that.
I'm going to turn this back on just to see if it has an effect.
Why do you see me sweating?
No, I'm fucking burning up. Matter of fact, I can probably dial this one towards you. Actually, tell me if it's coming your way. You can tell. See right here, this one's aimed at you.
Okay.
This one's aimed at me.
Bring the blades down a little.
You mean down here?
Maybe because it's blocked. It's probably come. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Well,
I feel
then
it.
But then it's gonna.
Oh.
Then it's gonna go down here and not.
Oh,
up
I
over
feel it now. It'll
Alright.
just hit.
Nah, I farted.
It'll flow. So
Well, what I'm saying is you know, Tom retired in Ohio as a painter. He was a painter for the school system in Ohio. Retired, 30 years, full pension, benefits, all
Nice.
that, right? Nice, lucky son of a bitch. Why couldn't I get that painting? Why
Right.
couldn't I get that?
yes.
Well, because here they hire everything out. They don't have their own painting, you know, department here. So and that's hard to find. Up there, I'm sure, you know, it's a union shit. And Tom retired and he moved to Florida. Smart man. Tom was a good dude. I liked Tom, but he had 2 daughters, and when you work at FIT, your children get to attend that college for free.
That's nice.
And back then, it was $30,000 a year. 30K, 30 large, 30 bands, 30 stat.
Nice. Lucky her.
No, Tom,
Lucky the daughter who went to
2
school.
daughters. He had 2 daughters. That's $60K a year. He was probably getting $10.50 an hour. I was getting $9.36.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
$9.36. I was making over double that with Larry. And then when the housing market went to shit, I had to take what I could get. And that barely kept the bills paid, but at the same time, it kept the bills paid, barely, with your help. You know, we kept the bills paid, and we weren't married or nothing back then, but, you know, we were shacking up, you know, and you would throw me, you know, what you normally gave me towards bills, and that towards the, you know, towards the mortgage and the power bill and all that shit and cable and all that, and it really made a difference. It helped out. It wasn't a lot, but it helped out. I knew it was a lot to you, but it definitely helped to subsidize what I wasn't getting from my work. And so I mean, that's why Tom's a little brown noser. He's a little kiss ass. But what's funny is during lunch, he's there, you know, round table, all these guys. They know each other from the different departments and the fac ops.
Yes.
You know, they would, because they had a full building, a 2-story freaking building of just offices that was all fac ops. You know, managers. They had, you know, the grounds. They had painting. They had construction, like building walls, move a wall, take out a wall in this
Yes.
building, put it over there, putting in doors, that
It's
kind of
nice.
stuff.
Doing
Then they
something
had-
different every day.
They had their own HVACs guys. They had everything, every trade you can think of. They had an actual department for that. And so Tom would sit with those guys, you know, in the lunchroom. And the lunchroom was like a cafeteria for the whole campus, but food was in, yeah.
He stayed in this school for this. Was this the same school for 30 years he stayed with?
Tom
Yes.
worked for the school, for the Ohio school system as a painter for 30 years.
Well, so I'm saying these people, he's been with them for years and years and years. Maybe
Well,
he
no.
felt comfortable sitting with them.
No, he had moved to Florida after he
Oh,
retired.
I see.
And
I
got the
see.
job at FIT as a painter, making grit, making shit money. Okay, it was tip money. I mean, waitresses made more money than I did, and I busted my ball. I'm not saying anything about waitresses, but waitress makes more in tips in an hour than I was getting paid my full check in an hour. You know what I mean? So, and I had a skill that at the time I'd been doing for about 20 years. So it was rough, but Tom, like I said, Tom would sit with all the, the guys. He'd been there maybe 6 months longer than me. And he's sitting over there cutting up, talking about Stan. Stan doesn't know his ass from the whole ground. I heard Stan in his office. He was underneath Stan. Stan ran the painting department, and then Tom was like the supervisor. So that's why we called him Uncle Tom. And but he'd be over there. I heard Stan the other day. He was in his office, and he called the paint store. He's like, "Hey, I gotta paint a fence. It's a wood fence. What should I use on it?" I don't know, fucking paint, jackass. Exterior grade, preferably. Yeah. I gotta paint. I gotta paint some wooden trim in this building we're rebuilding. What should I put on that? I don't know. How about some fucking semi-gloss, latex? Is it metal? I mean, it's wood trim. What? Why are you asking this shit?
Yes.
Okay, it's a metal door. It's a metal door. As a industrial grade door, right? Yeah. Then you got to use oil base on that. Okay. What kind of oil base? I don't know. Oil base, jackass. I mean, this guy would call and ask them that shit. And Stan was there for over 30 years or 29 years. He'd worked in that department. He moved up the ranks. 29 years. Running around the same college. Painting door moves. I missed out. I'm kind of glad I got fired or let go, whatever you want to call it. Remember, because I injured my arm. My arm got injured. I didn't injure it. It got injured. I was walking out the door carrying a folding table because they wouldn't give me anybody to help me do it. And I would, kick the door open with my feet. I was walking outside and the wind kicked up. You know how the winds can be in Florida. Yes. And the wind kicked up and blew it. Like it was like a freaking, it was like a damn, a sail. And the wind caught it and pulled my arm a little bit, and it pulled the muscle right here. It wasn't a big deal, but I mentioned, I was asked during lunch, hey, go get the pressure washer and take it over to the building, whatever the fucking, work on that walkway if you don't have nothing to do. All right. Is anybody going to be over there at that garage? Because I could use some help getting it in and out of the van. Oh, you can't lift that? Well, I just I was carrying one of those things out, man, and the wind caught it and blew and I got a slight muscle pull. I'll be fine tomorrow, though. It's not a big deal. Oh, you got to fill out an accident report. I didn't have an accident, jackass. I had a muscle get slightly pulled. It's not a big deal. Look, fuck y'all. I'm going to go back to work. So I went back to work and I get radioed. Robert, we need you to. Fuck me. I had to go fill out an accident report. They sent me to a doctor in Titusville. There ain't a doctor within 40 fucking miles that I could have gone to.
Yeah.
They sent me to Titusville. It was 40 miles away to get an x-ray on my arm. There ain't a, come on. Melbourne.
Yeah.
There's doctors' offices everywhere. You've got like 5 freaking hospitals competing with each other. There's no occupational office I can go to. I mean, I didn't get drug tested, which didn't bother me because I would have passed it. But I always heard, when you go in for an injury type of thing, a workman's comp type of thing, which I wasn't claiming workman's comp, but when you do that, then you automatically get drug tested. They automatically piss test you, man. Oh, okay.
They should have.
I didn't.
Well,
I didn't get piss tested at all. I was mad because the doctor says, well, you've got a slight pull in your muscle, and well, you're gonna have
They found all that out with an X-ray.
You're you're gonna have to have light duty. No, he said the X-ray didn't show anything, but he
Right.
would touch it, and he found a spot that was made me go, yeah, right there's a little soft, And he was like, yeah, you got a slight pull of your muscle, and I don't know what it was called. That's why I'm saying it. I'm muscle, and sorry, and
Oh, I was just trying to do what you do. Sweet.
fucker, turn on, bitch. So yeah, he's like, yeah, you got to pull that muscle. It's not bad though, from what I could tell. It's take a couple days, it'd be all right. And I'm gonna give you a note though. I said, for what? He goes, well, light duty for about the next 10 days or so. I'm like, oh man, he said, just you have to give this to him. It's gonna be in my notes that I gave you that, and they get a copy of the notes.
Wow.
All right. So because it's an accident report, so they have to file everything. And I told him, I told him that there was zero reason for me to come up here and do this. He was like, yeah, it is a little, but they're just trying to cover their tracks or cover themselves,
Yeah.
and just in case down the road something happens.
That's right.
And so I go in the next day to give him my, he goes, so what'd the doc say? Or it's more like, he's more like, so what'd the doc say? And I was like, he gave me this. I can't read it. I acted like I couldn't read it. I didn't know what it said. Because, his doctor's writing, here you go. I'm not sure what that says.
Oh, my God.
And he was like, it looks like it's saying light duty for 10 days. I said, oh, really? That's weird. And he just said it was a very slight pull of the muscle, which is pretty much what I said 2 days ago. So,
Wow. I couldn't
So-
see work. Well,
So then he goes, well, just wait over there. Wait in that room right there. There's a room where we kind of met in the mornings and talked
Yeah.
about what we're going to paint. It's a very tiny room. Very, very, very tiny. It was like a little bathroom. And it had this round table in it. And anyway, it's the room where we would take our uniforms when they had to go to the Cintas, the cleaners. And we just bag them up and
yes.
drop them in there.
I like that.
So the room smelled every now and then, but anyway, yeah, he'd get mad at me because I get paint on my clothes. I'm like, I'm on my uniform. It's like,
I'm a painter.
I'm a painter, right? It's kind of what I do. One time he had me spray the fence at the baseball field, at the back of the baseball field, both sides of it, and it was like 100 fucking degrees that day. And so I sprayed both sides of it, and he got mad because I got overspray all over the whites that I was wearing. My uniform. The uniforms were more like what they give to a lunch lady. You know what I mean?
That sucks.
It wasn't
I
like painter's
remember.
whites. And so he got mad because I got overspray on it. Well, what am I? I'm out in the wind spraying fucking paint. What do you think? I'm gonna look like I done Mr. Clean when I'm done? What do you mean? Oh, I'm gonna have to get you new uniforms now because that one's all messed up. Well, then give me a bodysuit or something. What do you want me to do? You want me to put a shield in front of me, like body armor, and hold this gun around it and be like, psh, 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 psh. What do you? This guy was a jackass, basically, is what I'm saying. He didn't know the first thing about fucking painting. He must have hid well for about 29 years there and not actually had to do any work because he knew zero about painting. For a man who'd been working in that particular painting department for 29 years, he knew jack dick about painting.
I'm glad I got to work at many different places and not be stuck for the same place for 30 years. You got your pros and your cons.
Well, after I waited in that room for about 20 minutes, I overheard they're dumb. He also thinks that his office, which was a broom closet, was like soundproof because they like closed the door between, like, the room I was in was like honestly like right next to the room, his office. The room where we meet was right next to his office, and there's just a thin door in between the two. Well, the boss over him come down the hall. I could hear him walking down the hall. I mean, it's not I think the people in that building built the walls in that building, so they know how thin the walls are. You know what I mean? And he's in there Yeah, well, just, and I'm like, well, Bob, Robert, Bob said that note said 10 days light duty.
Oh,
The guy goes, well, you need to keep them on, racial balancing. And I said, I can fucking hear you, and they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, mumble now, motherfuckers, So anyway, by the time it was done, the other dude walked out, and I walked in, or he opened the door and said, "Come on in here, Bob." And I'm like, "Oh, okie dokie, sir." I'm like, "Oh, all right, Stan," and
You're getting your walking papers.
and he was like, I said, "So, well, what's up?" He goes, "Well, I don't think this is gonna work out." I'm like, "Why?" And I honestly said this. I said, "Why?" Because I'm white.
Yeah, I can't.
He said,
do
"Oh,
that.
now I can't respond on that. That has nothing to do with it." I'm like, "Right, okay, Stanford," because that was his name. Okay, Stanford Zone.
Yeah, I know.
That was his name. So I was like, "Whatever, man." And he goes, "I'm gonna have to walk out and get your badge, and I'm gonna have to get your keys." I said, "Well, I have some things in my work van, in the work van that I was driving. That piece
Yeah.
of shit that needs to be crushed." I was driving that van. We each get a van, and I got the oldest, biggest piece of shit there, and this
'Cause you were
college
white.
campus, because I was the new guy. This college campus is spread out pretty good. I mean, you have to turn down. There was times when you would have to turn onto one of the main roads, like the main arteries through town, which was Babcock back then. It was Babcock, and it's probably Babcock now too. But and I'd have to wait at that light, and then light would turn, and I would turn left, onto Babcock to get to the dorm apartment areas. I had to go over there to do some work, with pressure washing, whatever. And I turned, and my door, the passenger door on that van, which was shut, swings open all by itself. I'm in the passenger. I'm in the driver's seat driving the van. I can't reach that door, and it about knocked the dude off his bike that was crossing the road. He was.
Yes.
I was facing this way, turning like that, and the bicyclist was coming this way. So as I went to turn, my door went and took him off his bike, man. There's nothing I can do about it. The door was, and they knew about it because I mentioned something to them after I got to where I was going. I got on the radio. I was like, "Y'all know that the passenger door on that van, something's wrong with it. Can you have somebody in whatever department maybe look at that?" Because they had a guy there that worked on all the vehicles. He had his own garage and everything. Yeah, he worked there too. Like they totally all autonomous unit. They didn't need anybody from the outside to do anything. But they were like, "Oh yeah, that van does that sometimes." I'm like, "Well, that's great. You might want to get something done about it because I about took a dude out on his bike. That would have been a nice lawsuit." Stupid people. So anyway, I had to go get some things out of my van, and he was like, "All right, well, I'll walk with you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because this is going to be awkward. This is not going to be awkward." So we're walking, and I was like, "Well, it sucks that,
Bob got his walking papers.
Well, I didn't get any papers. I just had to give him back my badge, and he was like, "You can bring your uniforms back when you come and get your last check." I said, "Well, I got direct deposit." He goes, "Well, you just bring your uniforms back." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you." I threw them away. Threw them in the trash. It was probably $200 worth of damn uniforms burned. So, and I wished smartphones would have been out back then because this was 2007.
Oh, yeah.
Late. I began in 2007. I think I got canned right around my birthday, 2008, and I wished smartphones would have been available like they are now, because I would have had my voice memo thing out, recording what was said. If I'd have had a record, I talked to a lawyer after that. Remember Morgan & Morgan for the people. Remember them? Well, now it's a different name now. It's like Morgan Johnson and Jingleheimer and Schmidt, right? But back then it was Morgan & Morgan for the people, right? Yes. I called them, and they sent some paralegal out to talk to me at our home, and they heard this story. And when I said that, I said I could hear them say racial balancing. All right. And So the guy goes, Rachel, do you have any proof of that? Did you record that conversation? I said, no, I did not.
Dang.
There wasn't a way to, unless I was one of those, nerds who carried around a little, micro cassette recorder, or back then they probably had the digital ones, but it wasn't something I carried with me. But if I'd have had that, I'd have had a hell of a lawsuit. They'd be paying me probably $25,000 a year for the next however many years.
Wow.
Well, all right, baby. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for not watching this, because this is not going anywhere, and it's always fun, baby. You got to say something. You can't just thumbs up. You got to say.
I got to say what? It was
Till
nice.
next time. Something. You can't just go. He's doing all the talking, so I'm just going to go.
He was doing such a good job at it. And
Well,
till
you
next
got to
time.
get some practice.
Yeah, how?
Tune in next time.
He was doing all the talking.
Go ahead. Talk.
No.
Talk to me. Come on.
Until the next episode.